So I just saw Luca. It's Pixar's latest film available on Disney Plus, and I loved it. It made me tear up. It made me cry, basically. And it's one of the more simpler Pixar films, but I love it for its simplicity. So Luca is a sea monster boy with the ability to become a human when he's on land, and we explore the town of Porto Rosso with his new best friend Alberto, and it's a coming of age tale, and they have like a really life changing summer. Um, there's the classic coming of age storytelling element where the parents are against him from exploring because they want to protect him versus he wants to explore the land, and obviously there's a lot of dangers on the land. So this is also one of the first films. I'm in my 30s now, and this is, I know I'm getting older because when the parents were lecturing him, or mainly the mom character, which is pretty harsh, about not going to the surface, what she was saying made so much sense. If I had a kid like Luca, I would be scared out of my mind. But I'm still young enough where I like to hope I have a youthful spirit that I also understood Luca's need to explore. But yeah, I love the characters. The animation is so cool. And I actually do want to talk about the themes of the film, which is mostly friendship. And Pixar is really, really spoiling the shit out of us because I keep reading reviews saying, oh, this is one of Pixar's lesser films. It's not that impactful, but it's still quite good. Most people accept that this is a really good movie. But if Pixar didn't have this huge body of work, same thing with Marvel. Marvel movies have also spoiled us. Pixar is so good at making very simple, straightforward stories, but executed to what I would say as close to perfection as it can be. The storytelling elements is so simple, you can essentially predict what's going to happen, or at least what the arc is from the very within the first 5 minutes. But as a writer, that's actually the sign of really great, clear storytelling. Luca, in the beginning, he's just a boy. He's a little bit scared, and he needs somebody to bring him out of his shell because he does have this innate curiosity that's just waiting to be tapped. And then we meet his new friend, Alberto. And Alberto is this old, a little bit older, but just a lot more adventurous character. And he really helps draw him out of his shell. He literally pulls him out of the water. And what I found out reading about this film on Wikipedia is that the director, Enrico Casarosa, this is based on him. He sees himself as Luca, and it's about his friendship with a boy when he was younger called Alberto, who really pulled him out of his shell. And then because it's coming from such an authentic place, this is this film really comes to life, and you really are attached to the friendship of these two boys. And I want to reiterate, nothing too crazy happens. It's not like the dialogue is so interesting or funny, or we're seeing anything completely new, but it feels very, very authentic. And it being set in this little Italian-esque town, it just makes it seem real. And oh, what I also really liked about this film, and the director also says that he's inspired a lot by Miyazaki, and you can see some of those elements in how soft the characters are. They're like friendlier and they're more cartoony than some of the Pixar offerings, and also just this sense of joy. It's definitely not a dark Miyazaki. It feels based on Miyazaki. It's one of the happier ones, like My Neighbor Totoro vibes. There is a main baddie, and the main baddie is just this town bully. But for the most part, it's just about these boys building their friendship, and they're trying to build a Vespa together because they become attached to it. They've never seen there's a lot of these human things, and they see a Vespa and it represents freedom. And that's just a great, simple element. So for the majority of the film, their goal is to win the race so they can use a race. There's a race in the film, and then there's a small prize pool, and then with the prize they want to buy a Vespa, and the Vespa represents freedom, and that's it. So they have a very, very clear goal, but the goal is not the point. The goal is just a means for them to develop their friendship, and then ultimately towards the end, as they're moving towards getting this goal and training for this race. There's going to be some conflicts between the friends, and there's this other character, this human called Julia. Let me see what her name is. Yeah, Julia. It's spelled Giulia, but it's Julia or Julia, and yeah, she's their friend. It really is about friendship, but then by the time we get to the end, the movie on the surface, it's about getting this Vespa, but ultimately, what really matters is their friendship. And I'm just gonna get into some spoilers. So at the very end, this is one slight criticism. I think the end was a little bit drawn out because it really wanted to wrap up all these relationships like very nice and cleanly. But ultimately, I'm okay with that. This film is a children's film. Actually, no, I don't want to do it a disservice. It's a film for everybody. But the Alberto, who initially is a little bit, he wasn't even really selfish, but he just had to learn to be more giving to his friend, and both of them have to make sacrifices for each other. So when a really great scene when Luca could still potentially win the race, but then he sees Alberto trip, and Alberto, it's raining and he becomes a sea monster and his identity is revealed and he's in danger. And there's an earlier scene where Luca actually betrayed him, and he didn't want to reveal that he actually was also a sea monster because he enjoyed his time with the humans so much, and that was a super traumatic moment for both of them. And he really quickly tries to apologize to Alberto, but Alberto in that moment doesn't accept it. He just wants him to go away. And this is another great thing that amateur storytellers and writers really need to be aware. It's just saying I'm sorry is never enough, or it's not going to be the most strongest choice. And Pixar sets us up to this amazing, really emotional moment where, everything that Luca thought he wanted, mainly, it being the Vespa, because that represents freedom. He could be with the humans. This is what he kept saying he wanted and what he thinks he wants. But in that moment when Alberto needs help, especially after just a couple of scenes ago, he betrayed him and he just runs out, putting his own life in danger to save Alberto. I teared up. That was a super simple but perfectly set up moment. And he snatches them and they're just going down the mountain together, and they're both revealed now. Everybody sees they're monsters and they're in danger, but that's what this story was about. It's about friendship, and they both sacrificed for each other. And the Julia character also warned Luca all the way up to this moment. It's like, dude, what are you doing? After she finds out that he actually is a sea monster, she's like, what are you doing? It's not worth your life to get this Vespa. But he's so tunnel vision at the time, and he's also a boy, but we get that too. This is what a great movie is. The characters will have something that they think they want, but what we think we want isn't actually what we need, and that's what the Vespa represents. So after he saves Alberto and they're running, they're going down this hill straight towards the water, he already doesn't care about the Vespa anymore. He only cares about Alberto, and that was such a nice moment. And then at the end, Alberto loves this Vespa too. Actually, Alberto probably loves it more than Luca. Everything's fine and dandy. The townspeople actually don't really want to hurt them because, they can talk and they're nice and they're cute. But Alberto actually sells the Vespa to buy a ticket for Luca to actually go to school, because that's Luca's dream. And Pixar's really wringing a little bit more tears and feels out of you. And I'll take it because they earned it. It was a great setup. And yeah, Pixar does it again. It's really commonplace that this happens, that they'll make movies that make me cry, but they're so good at it. And this is a movie I highly recommend. I think it's really good. It's just really happy. I really like stuff like this right now. I think 5 years ago, I was pretty obsessed with dark, gritty things, and I thought that was a more serious type of film if you could create something really messed up. But I think to create something this happy and hopeful is also not easy. It's actually really hard to not be jaded, especially right now. So to see a film like this that really captures the nuances and the joy of just having a good friend, it's so simple, but I think it's so needed. And yeah, I loved it. So check it out.